Hello, everyone. My name is Fiona Edgar. I'm a karmic astrologer, tarot reader, and clairvoyant from Northern Ireland. And this is my first episode of the weekly psychic weather forecast. I'll be using astrology and the tarot to forecast the general energies of the week ahead. For a private reading on any topic like past lives, your life purpose, relationships, or anything else, you can visit my website at www.scorpiomoonkarmicastrology.com. Okay, let's look at the psychic weather for today, Monday the 3rd of December. The day starts off well with the moon in harmonious Libra. Then in the evening, or if you're in North America, the early afternoon, the moon moves into passionate Scorpio. Scorpio moon isn't the easiest transit as it can make us prone to jealousy and suspicion. However, if you can put those aside, it is a good time to connect with others through passion and intensity. So everything under a Scorpio moon is intensified. Venus re-entered Scorpio yesterday in her direct motion. Love intensifies and we will not be satisfied by anything fluffy or superficial, and we demand total commitment and honesty from our partners. During this transit, some bonds may strengthen, while other weaker relationships may break apart, and will seek transformation through intimacy, sex, and exploring the shadow side. We may experience issues caused by jealousy and fear of betrayal in our relationships, and we should try to avoid controlling or manipulating others. Also try to avoid deception, especially self-deception, and remember to always keep our promises. We may find that our sense of style reflects this transit, as we're more drawn to wearing darker colours and materials like leather and velvet. So also today, the Sun in Sagittarius is making a square to Mars in Pisces. So a square is a challenging aspect. So this is going to create some tension, and we may experience conflict with others stemming from a clash of egos. We may also feel that others aren't pulling their weight and doing all of the things that they should, or it may be more difficult for us to be productive today because we're going to be prone to dreaming, daydreaming, and seeking escapism. So you may find yourself staring out of the window a lot instead of doing your work. We also may clash with authority figures today, or people who don't share our beliefs. So tomorrow, on Tuesday the 4th of December, the moon stays in Scorpio all day, continuing the very intense theme of yesterday. We may find pleasure in researching and studying occult topics and conspiracy theories. Our emotions will be felt on the deepest levels during this lunar transit. So intense joy and intense sorrow. It's very difficult to find balance when the moon is in Scorpio. This transit encourages us to find truth within ourselves and the world around us. We should try to avoid mainstream news outlets like the BBC, CNN, Fox News, etc., as they're very biased and they're working for a political agenda. We really can't trust anything that comes from these sources. You know, people laugh because President Trump uses Twitter to get his messages to the world instead of using the mainstream press. But can you really blame him? If you haven't figured it out by now, these mainstream news outlets are just trying to brainwash you. The mainstream media is a propaganda mill, and Neptune in Pisces has made it even more confusing. So just try not to get sucked into that. Unfortunately, we can expect things to become even more confusing over the next couple of years. So the best thing to do for us is to switch off and to work on our own personal issues and spiritual growth. So if you work on raising your own frequency instead of getting caught up in all of this drama around the world. So anyway, moving on to Wednesday, the moon remains in Scorpio, and today we're under a confusing Sun and Neptune square. So physically, some of us will maybe feeling out of sorts, and we may be suffering from tiredness, headaches, water retention, and just generally feeling under the weather. If you can, some gentle yoga or meditation will help us to feel better, and it's important to stick to healthy foods and try to avoid junk food and alcohol. The square will possibly cause us to feel confusion about some aspect of our lives, or some dramatic event will play out in the media with the intent of deliberately misleading us. On Thursday, the moon moves into Sagittarius at 2:38 a.m. UK time, so that will be late in the evening in North America. We will feel the energy shift as water turns into fire. And also, this is Mercury direct day, finally. So some issues that we've been experiencing over the last few weeks should hopefully be resolved. Communication with others should be getting easier, and we're feeling more hopeful and able to make decisions more easily. The Sagittarius part of your chart should be making some progress. If you are unsure about your own chart and want to unlock your hidden talents and gifts from past lives, you can book a reading with me through my website. On Friday, we have a new moon in Sagittarius, which creates a new beginning in the Sagittarius part of your birth chart. This is a bit of a challenging new moon, like a lot of the astrology that we've experienced in 2018. But we need to remember that these challenges have a purpose, and part of that is to help us reconnect with our inner wisdom and intuition. The human race has been gaslighted for long enough, and it's time to start seeing the truth. So anger, deception, and dirty tricks are just some of the lovely themes of this new moon, and that's due to a square to Mars and Neptune. It is possible that someone will try to fool us or deceive us. That could be possibly Pisces or afflicted Neptune type people. So we need to use our own intuition and look beyond the surface when we're making decisions. As always, we need to learn to use our hearts to make decisions, not the gut. If something doesn't feel right in your heart, then take notice of it and don't second guess yourself. Our whole society has been manipulated with the purpose of distracting us from recognizing the spiritual power and magic that each one of us holds within our DNA. On Saturday, the energy stabilizes as the moon moves into mature and steady Capricorn. The energies of this transit favor hard work in our careers, structures, success, and achievement. So on this day, we do feel more motivated to reach our goals, and starting a new career or business opportunity is favourable at this time. However, please be mindful that Mercury is still in its shadow period for a little while, so it may be best to hold off on making major decisions. Capricorn moon can sometimes make us feel more prone to depression, and we may feel emotionally cold towards each other, or other people find us to be cold. But on Sunday, the moon makes a conjunction to transformative Pluto, and some nice easy flowing aspects to Venus, Mercury, Mars, Neptune, and Chiron. So relationships should be flowing nicely. Sunday is a good day for a date night or spending some time with your family. Okay, so on to the tarot part of the forecast. Please remember, this is a general reading for everyone listening to this podcast. So, all of it may not apply to you, but other people will be able to take every word that I say. If you need clarity on a personal issue, you can book a private tarot and astrology reading with me. So, I pulled 3 cards, and those are the Hierophant, which is a major arcana, the 8 of Swords, and the 7 of Swords. The last card does reflect some trickery or deception. So that goes along with the astrology that I mentioned earlier. It does seem like someone is trying to be sneaky or deceive us over some issue. So we really need to be careful this week. Keep your eyes open. But the 8 of Swords, this card shows me that some of you are turning a blind eye to it, or you're being overly naive. You're not seeing exactly what is right in front of you. So this situation is kind of keeping you as an emotional prisoner in some way, but you easily could free yourself. So have a think about that. On a global level, I feel this too with the weird goings on in the media. There's the UN Migrant Pact. There's a lot of deception going on in the media. It's so hard to work out what is the truth. And like I said, it's only going to get worse. So please do your own research. The Hierophant card in the reading speaks of spirituality, religious beliefs, and ancient traditions. So please never forget your ancestors and the sacrifices that they have made for you. Connect with the ancient spiritual practices of your ancestors. Do some research and find out what those were. And make no mistake that on a global level, the powers that be do have an agenda and they're trying to hide it from you. So, a country that is ashamed of its roots and ancestors is doomed. On a more personal level, this reading may indicate ongoing legal issues with a tricky person, and some of you may be covering up some of your personal life, some part of your personal life, such as your relationship or your sexuality. So you should seek the counsel of a knowledgeable person for help and advice. So to sum everything up for this week, we should see some of the Mercury retrograde issues starting to ease off, but we need to keep our eyes open and to do some researching or investigating. We may have some very vivid dreams this week, and those of us who are very sensitive to energies may benefit from some grounding practices. So using cypress, pine, thyme and fir tree essential oils may be helpful. 2018 has been a very difficult year for all of us with all of the retrogrades, but hopefully we have all grown immensely. Some relationships that weren't serving us anymore fell away, and I'm sure, like me, you feel like a different person now than you did at the beginning of the year. You should be feeling stronger and living more authentically and spiritually. Okay guys, well I hope that you found this forecast helpful. You can also follow me on Facebook where I post astrological updates. The address is facebook.com/Scorpio Moon Astro. To book a private karmic astrology or tarot reading with me, you can contact me on Facebook or my website www.scorpiomoonkarmicastrology.com. Have a great week everyone. Goodbye.